The best opportunities rarely appear when everyone is optimistic. After a severe correction that raised tens of billions from the memecoin market, investors are once again asking whether this asset class is finished. Here's our honest take. So still in the mini range in this, let me draw it a bit. Still in this mini range of this range, which is, I guess, a part of this range, but so it's still just compressing in a way. So as for Bitcoin, let's see if it can revisit the midpoint of the range, which would be around 70k, 72 maybe. So yeah, not really much there. Not a lot happening. So that's for Bitcoin. Not really much to say. Like we can put up the weekly to see how it's doing, or the monthly, which is, well, not much to get out of here. It's just the same range here. As you can see, it's holding the support line so far. So it's just gonna be waiting until it either breaks below or stays in the range and moves up again. We can look at some fear and greed index, still in medium fear. I'd call it medium fear. As a couple of weeks ago we were at 8 again, and now we moved up to 23. So that's not too bad, and it's kind of you would kind of expect fear and greed to be at these levels if you just look at the chart. So fear and greed at 70 at these levels. Fear and greed at 30 at these levels would make sense. Which kind of is the case right now, so not really an interesting observation in that regard. I do remember when we were at these prices, fear and greed was constantly at like 8. So that's not the case right now. And you can see this as well in how people have been slightly longing at 60k, but not overly. So nothing worrying to see here. It is kind of a divergence where at these prices people were more bearish than at these prices right now, even though prices are a little lower than they were in February. So that's something you can take into consideration. That this might not be the ultimate bottom, but yeah, who knows? It might just end up being the bottom. But yeah, it seems like people have been slightly longing this 60k support level, which they previously didn't do. So that's an interesting observation. Let's see. Let's go to Aura. Check how that's doing. I will be covering a report about Aura, and about other meme coins in general, which is one sector that's attention-wise doing pretty good lately. But yeah, Aura, it's setting up a range around these levels. Just moving in there. I'd even want to put it here. It's just ping-ponging here and setting up a base to run higher in the future. Although I'm not expecting Aura to run anytime before the Q4 confirmation, which has always been in October. So I'm not expecting it to run before. So don't treat this as a short-term play, because it's quite a long-term play. Hence why I'm sizing up pretty heavily into the meme. So that's it for Aura. I will cover the report in a bit after this segment. Virtual has moved back to the lows and ranging there as well. What it's going to do here kind of depends on Bitcoin. I expect if Bitcoin is going to step lower, Virtual might take this 45 cent level. If Bitcoin stays in, Virtual might go to the 75 or the 70 cents level. But then nothing really interesting happening there. Tag wise, I haven't really been active on the Twitter of Virtual, but I just trust them to be building good stuff. That's how it goes. And as I said before, Virtual tends, and most other projects also, by the way, they tend to not release good news in the bear market because in the bear market, there's not a lot of money to be allocated based on your good news. In the bull market, when everything is about AI or whatever narrative, if they release the good news then, that's way better. Because then there's way more attention on the sector as a whole. Just historically speaking, we're entering the boring season as well. I think this was June last cycle, made new lows. Currently, we haven't made new lows so far, but we have a week left. Anyways, ever since June, it started moving sideways for half a year almost, or like 3 months, and then it stepped lower one more time, and that's when more boring time came, and then it started to run up. And as you can see here as well, February low, June takes it out, boring price action, Q4 low, run it up. That's how it's historically been. So we are entering the boring season here. Because look at this volatility, which is crazy low. Some weeks with 2% from high to low. And sure, you had some 12% moves, but this was a crazy boring period. Just imagine you checking the Bitcoin price every day of the week, or maybe even 2 weeks, and it hasn't even moved an inch, while it was supposed to be a very volatile asset back then. So that's the period we are entering. So don't expect too much dopamine and fun stuff from the market. Just stick to your plan and keep dollar cost averaging, I guess. A little bit of context and background knowledge. Cryptonary is the research group which is backing Aura. And I've laid this thesis out a couple of times before. But my thesis essentially is that because Cryptonary, firstly, is quite a good research group, and secondly, has backed 3 memes before, which all went to $2 to $4 billion market cap. So with Popcat and SPX, where all the coins they backed, I'm betting on Aura doing the same, essentially. Reason why they go up that much is because Cryptonary, firstly, has done it 3 times before successfully, so they have the knowledge to do it again. They know what it takes to push a meme coin to such price levels. Secondly, they can spend money on shilling the coin. So think about Instagram/Facebook ads, billboards in New York, Twitter ads, paying influencers on Twitter to shield the coin, etc. Just the marketing game about the meme coin. And since meme coins are just a sales game, that's quite a big factor. They also have a lot of connections, so they can get the team on board with KOLs because the KOLs know Cryptonary. Cryptonary says, yo, bro, wanna shield the next great meme coin? Do this one, you get paid this and that. And KOLs will be more inclined to say yes because they know Cryptonary and they respect Cryptonary in a way. So that's why it's quite a big deal that Cryptonary is backing Aura. And since they are not really shilling it currently, and not really hardcore shilling it currently, as the market is not interesting enough. Like it's just burning money if you're gonna run ads on meme coins right now because no one is paying attention. So the audience is gonna be quite small. So it's gonna be very expensive to target that audience, and the capital that the audience possesses is too little to even make it run 2 billion. So It's way more efficient to do the hardcore marketing when Bitcoin is at 200k market cap and people are mass gambling on shitcoins. So that's the reason why they don't actively shit it, and that's the reason why it's at such low valuation. Looking at the state of the market, many market participants see a sector that has totally lost momentum and its value proposition, which is what you want to see. This is the sentiment bottom. If you can make a chart out of it, let's just pull up the aura chart. Let's say this was, let's forget aura, forget price, just time stays the same, and in your head change price for attention or hype. So this was 2025, everyone liked memes, and then we're here now. Everyone thinks it's over for memes and it's super boring and no one is hyped about it. If anything, they're frustrated because they're down so much. So that's kind of the meme chart right now, sentiment chart for memes, which would be around this zone. So then this is the best risk reward to bet on, right? It can't get much worse. These cases show that sentiment can change much faster in any market, but then many market participants can react. Over the 9 years of their experience in CPRO, we have seen in crypto, we have seen regime shifts that can happen blindingly fast, and many get left behind, forced to chase at much higher prices once momentum ignites. Truly unique. Unlike traditional sectors, memecoins operate as pure attention markets. Revenue, earnings, and cash flows play no role. I do think this is just all cope to gamble for people. Like, it's just, well, whatever. Instead, price reflects internet culture, community, and social momentum. Therefore, the sector is super highly volatile, but it also creates opportunities that few other markets can truly replicate. There's no other sector that can print 50 to 100x over a short period of time like memecoins can. Anyways, our number one conviction pick in this sector remains Aura. Here's why we remain constructive on Aura. No ceiling, just feeling. That's the catchphrase for Aura. Although I don't really like this catchphrase. Whatever. It gets the job done. We need to look at what Aura has already demonstrated. In early May, Aura surged from below $10 million market cap, where I was buying and giving you all signals, by the way, to buy, to almost $70 million market cap overnight. The move came off the back of Binance teasing an Aura listing. And the move is largely retraced. It does show how fast things can change. And this is quite typical for memes. Most of the gains tend to happen in a couple of days. In Aura, it was 3 days in a row. Let's double check. Here as well. 1, 2, 3, for 5 days. 6 days in a row it went up. And that's when it topped. It like stopped moving higher. And even of the 6 days, most of the gains were made in 3 days. And here, 2 days. And it stopped. So that's typical for memes, especially for Aura. Most of the gains come in a couple of days, so never try to time it because you're gonna get left behind. You need to time it on the day to catch the move. You can't use a trend system because if you use an RSPS related system where it updates daily and you pick the strongest coins, you're gonna move 90%. You're gonna miss 90% of the Aura move. If everyone's looking to sell at the moment a new buyer arrives, no memecoin can reach the valuations we saw in previous cycles. This is part of the reason why I'm always calling for $2 billion market cap on Aura, or 1 billion or whatever. It's like we need to raise our targets. And raising your targets is retarded to do in the bull market, but in a bear market you have to become delusional. Because if everyone thinks like, okay, this meme coin might go up 2x, then it's never going to go 50x or 200x. You need to expand in your horizon. The market didn't take with 2 billions because every holder was targeting at 3x. It happened because participants believed the narrative could go much further and positioned themselves accordingly. So that's what I'm saying. Conviction created scarcity, and scarcity attracted more fresh capital. Therefore, to make memes great again, market participants need to have a broader time horizon and higher targets. But to get there, we need a risk-on environment, which we will eventually get. And this is not the case right now, hence why memes aren't going up that much. They do have the majority of attention, I guess, of crypto Twitter right now. But we don't have a risk-on environment, anything close like it. If memes were to run to $600-700 million and even to over $1 billion, the market needs to have conviction and an unwillingness to sell to the next buyer. Investors still want excitement, still want asymmetrical opportunities, they still want the possibility of turning small positions into large gains. Greed never dies, for real. Those instincts haven't disappeared. People are chasing AI and stocks right now. Very true. Memecoins remain the purest expression of attention markets. When sentiment turns and speculative capital returns to crypto, history suggests that memes will once again become one of the primary beneficiaries. And this has been the case for every cycle. Every cycle, the biggest runner was Memecoin. So what's the chance that it won't be the same thing again? There will always be new opportunities and new narratives emerging across the market. But if there's one takeaway from this piece, it's this: memes will be back. And among the opportunities available today, Aura remains our highest conviction meme play and, in our view, the best risk-reward meme pick that expresses that thesis. So that's a report. Even this report alone makes me want to buy more Aura. And I do think, even though this is kind of, the Aura has been a pick for a long time of theirs. So they need Aura to do well. But again, they've done this 3 times before, so they will do well. And it's a risk reward. If you expect it to go to $1 billion, this is one of the best risk rewards in crypto.